This is Battle Talks Live. It's kind of a thing that we made up for Warplanes, my Warplanes record, and it is basically just kind of a peeling back of layers on people's journeys. And my record Warplanes is about hate, betrayal, injustice, all the things kind of we're dealing with, and something that someone like Richard Patrick from Filter is used to writing about. So I thought it'd be awesome to have him on. He's a huge influence of mine. I'm a big fan of what he does, and I think you guys are gonna freaking love this. So let me bring him in. Here we go. I'm gonna add him in real quick. Turn him up.
Coming to you live and direct from Willis, California.
Wait, are you in a Panera right now? Is that what's going on?
I'm over in Melrose and Beverly.
Bro, you got your battle gear on, bro.
I got my battle gear on. Oh,
the man.
Just back from the grocery store,
just picking up some fruit, no big deal.
Apocalypse,
I know, seriously. Man, thanks so much for being on here, bro. This is awesome to have you.
No problem.
Awesome. Everybody probably already knows who the heck you are, but I just want to intro you so you don't have to say a single word. Richard Patrick was part of starting Filter. He is the start of Filter, and he got his beginning in being as one of the members of Nine Inch Nails, early days, when it was pretty hate machine and all those huge things going on. He had big songs like Hey Man, Nice Shot. He had also Take a Picture, just freaking cult classic syncs with City of Angels, Crow soundtrack, and Spawn. And I am just a huge fan of his voice and what he does. And I don't think my record or any of my music would exist without him. So I'm so thankful for him to be on here with me today to unpack everything and talk about kind of his journey. With Battle Talks, it's pretty much like a thing where I'm just doing, I feel like I believe behind every great artist is a battle story. So yours is freaking epic. I started peeling back some layers and I was like, holy crap, this story is amazing. It's crazy.
Yeah, the first band I really joined, other than my high school band, I was in this band called The Act, and the second band I joined was Nine Inch Nails, and Trent and I grew up in the Midwest, and he was in this band, The Exotic Birds, and I I knew him through The Exotic Birds, and then we started hanging out. And little by little, he would tell me like, okay, I got a record deal. And I was like, no way. Deal, turns out it was one of the worst record contracts ever written.
No. It's
so one-sided for the people that own the record company.
Yeah.
But that's how we were so desperate to just
That's correct. I mean, I can definitely relate with that. I think my first record deal was horrible too. My question to you is, did you ever see his band, The Exotic Birds, play or whatever? Weren't they like an 80s pop? Like,
absolutely. And they'd make fun of me. We sucked. I was like 18.
Yeah.
16, and this is before the internet. This is back when you had MTV and two stations, and you weren't really exposed to a lot of stuff.
Crazy.
But yeah, that was my upbringing. My upbringing was my adolescence was growing up in Nine Inch Nails. I mean, it was crazy.
Which sounds like a riot. I mean, just like watching some of those videos, and even just like being a kid, seeing that crap come on TV, I would be like, who are these guys? Like, what kind of crazy, wild life are they living? For sure. I mean, I think my second band was a horrible name called Better Than Nothing, and we went nowhere, played a bunch of high school like parties, and you know what I mean? Like, I think if I would have had my second band ever take off, it would have been disaster for sure.
No, it would. I'm sure you would have been fine. You seem like you right.
Man, I definitely, you know, I think things work out in the timing they're supposed to be for sure. But I was looking at some old early stuff with that when you were playing guitar. This is just a funny question, but I noticed you had some freaking tape on your nipples.
Yeah.
What was that about?
I don't know. You know, we were bored. You know, tape on my nipples. You know, trying to be different. You know, that was the thing. We were like, we have to look way different from everybody else. I mean, everybody, Living Color, Jane's Addiction, Susie Sue came out. She was totally, you know, well kept and, you know, well prepared and looked cool. Right? So we were just like, we'll look ugly. We'll look crazy.
Y'all look like you were from like Waterworld. Did you ever see that movie Waterworld? Dude,
yeah.
like end of the world kind of stuff. Like it was wild.
Apocalyptic. Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure that was on purpose. But I was going to ask you
weird green stuff that we'd put on our faces so that we look sick.
What the heck? That's crazy.
Like a light green kind of glaze stuff that we used to put over each other.
That's crazy.
Cornstarch, we'd have cornstarch everywhere, like dust everywhere. Like, we were crazy. We were into it. We were fully committed. But the toughest thing about the nails was just being tackled.
Yeah.
All the time. And like I knew like the guitar solo in Sin was one time I knew I was going to get tackled, but then there'd be a couple unexpected tackles, and you know, we didn't wear pads or anything.
Yeah.
So all that tackling ended up weakening the right side of my right leg, and I started limping, and then I got a horrible back problem from it.
Oh my God. Freaking
the whole thing, like, you know.
Trent owes you money, bro. He owes you money for your back.
My back, now it's fused, so I don't care. It's all good. It's all titanium.
Oh my God. Well, my question was going to be too, like, I noticed how like close up, like everything going on with Nirvana, you know, and then when you started Filter, like how kind of like, it's like that record Nevermind came out in 91 or something like that, and then y'all's record came out in 95. Like, what was that? Were you guys influenced by them and some of that movement, or were you guys a part and peers of that movement?
So for me, I was into, like, I really got into like Skinny Puppy, and like back when I was in my first band, you know, I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of sounded like U2 a little bit.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know where I wanted, like what I wanted to do. And then I got into Skinny Puppy, and it blew my mind. Like, how can something be so aggressively mean without being like heavy metal or like, you know, no guitars, everything was crazy. And I took that on as like an influence. And then I heard Land of Rape and Honey, and it was like, oh my God, it was just like the greatest music ever. So I started realizing like there's ways of being super aggressive without like, you know, joining a heavy metal band. Like, you know, growing your hair long and, you know, there's ways of being super aggressive. And then as I was putting Filter together, when Nine Inch Nails became really big, as I was starting to really kind of figure out my sound, I'd gotten into Pantera.
Oh my gosh, Pantera, yeah.
And so I knew I wanted to scream as much as possible. I knew I wanted to use machines because I loved like Ministry, and I came from Nine Inch Nails, so we were. You know, I was introduced to like, hey, this is drum machines. This isn't cheating anymore. This is an instrument. You're not fool anybody. You're using a drum machine. Like, you know, Big Black was like that.
It adds like this just crazy intensity that I love. I feel like the one thing I love about Filter is just the vocal. Like I always love passionate vocals. I don't like, it doesn't have to be like, you know, perfect is not what I'm after. Like I love the vocals that are just making me feel something. I remember telling you on the phone the first time that I heard "Hey Man, Nice Shot," these little kids were kind of miming it and playing it at this like summer camp thing, and I just remember it being the hardest thing I've ever heard in my life, being like, what is coming through these freaking speakers? How do I get my hands on it? How do I listen to it a million times? Like when you kind of were transitioning from Nine Inch Nails into doing Filter, did you like, and you wrote some of the first songs, did you know that that was going to be what was going to happen? Like, did you have any idea that you were writing something special?
The reason why I think it worked, and the reason why it was a hit was because I was trying to write something that I would like, and I was so absolute. I was like, you know, I fully recognized how insanely huge Nirvana had become. I had
Yeah.
really, I heard Nirvana. I was like, oh, they're going to be huge.
Yeah.
And Garden, and I knew I was like in Nine Inch Nails. I stood next to one of the greatest, you know, singers of the '90s, and I'm like, I've got to bring it. So like I raised my standards so high, and I still to this day I'm like, did I really crush it as a singer? You know, like because I really wanted to bring it for that song, you know.
Bro,
And
I don't even like some of the way that you sing. You know, I was gonna ask you, like, when you started singing like that, like the way your vocal breaks up, like were you influenced, like who were you influenced by? Who were your influences, like as a vocalist? Like did you hear that sound from somebody, or like did you listen to Stone Temple Pilots? Like what was the thing? Like what was the vibe?
no, it was like I just was wondering, like I was like, do I have a cool kind of scream? Like do I have like a does it sound cool when I sing high? And it broke up naturally, but it only broke up when I was singing in like the key of D. Like everywhere weird.
What? Is that true? Are all your songs in D?
They're pretty much in drop D. Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. And so and plus I love drop D just because it's easier to play. Like when I played Hey Man the first time, he goes, "You're cheating," because it's just two. You're playing 1, 2. You know, you're instead of making a bar chord. Instead of making a bar chord, which is like da 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 da, like I was just using one finger.
It's that riff. I feel like every kid my age when that song came out bought a guitar, turned the freaking distortion up, and started trying drop D, and it was just like, check out what I can do. Like I feel like we all were just smashing that all over the place, like just being like, I mean, when you wrote that riff, did you think, oh, probably tons of people are gonna want to learn this riff? Like this is a cool riff, or were you just like
this riff is awesome? And Al Jorgensen. I stole it from a song that they have called the Power of Lard or something like that.
No way.
On the Lard record, and it went and so I was just I slowed it down a little bit, made it more meaty and crazy, and then
and that's the way to do it.
It was like that riff right there is like the beauty of like I Will Follow or something like that. Just something so easy and something that everyone can play, but it's just never been thought of. So I was really, really happy when I like sat there and recorded it, and I was like, wow, I can't forget this.
Man, I feel like that's a good point too. It's like everybody pulls influences from you know, things don't come out of like thin air. I mean, everybody from you to the Beatles to everybody's been influenced in some ways. It's like, you know.
Yeah, everybody has a pull, you know. And that's the thing. I mean, you know, people are. The funny thing is I've kind of come back really hard to industrial because I'm like from that neck of the woods, and boy, like on my second record, title of record, I was doing like more guitar, like exploring, you know, exploration, you know, with like sweet, soft music, you know, take a picture, stuff like that.
I was just about to ask you that. Like that is such like in that genre, when you did take a picture, like did that feel like a huge risk? I mean, you were coming from like super hard music.
I thought to myself, my fans are Smashing Pumpkins fans. They're like we have the ability to go both sides, be two different animals. And I was kind of shocked when the label's like, man, this is a huge departure. You're going to lose your heavy metal fans. I'm like, there's no way. No way I'm going to lose my heavy metal. I actually did lose a lot of heavy metal fans.
Did you? I would have thought the same thing. That's probably the artist in us, like, oh, people will come along for the ride. They'll love it.
Yeah, I thought that it was like, no, they listen to the same music I do. They're eclectic. And it was like, nope, they want heavy metal. And they're like,
that's crazy.
Like, I guess there's a difference between like Will Smith hip hop and Little Pump hip hop. You know, Little Pump going to say whatever he wants to say. But to me, you shouldn't have to choose what thing you want to be. And
No.
that's been the best thing about my music, and kind of the worst thing, because they want something, record companies want something to market.
Yeah.
Like, who is your lifestyle? Who is your audience? Who is your thing? And I'm on my second record drifting into like psychedelic guitar music as opposed to doing something that was like, wait a minute, right? Hey Man, Nice Shot Part 2, you know,
Yeah.
do it again, you know, like,
Yeah.
why are you breaking, you know, why are you messing with the formula? And actually one of the record company presidents was like, your music is schizophrenic. I'm like, I'm like, look at you too. And they're like, yeah, but you two always sound like you literally went from heavy metal to like the most beautiful, like, you can't even tell it's the same band. I'm like, I'm like, it's my voice. And he's like,
I was about to say the same thing. I think the thing about your music and your voice is just that, like, you probably could do any style and it would still be Filter. It would still be you, because your voice is so unique. And I feel like that's something that people with unique voices that sound like nobody else, that the moment you hear it, okay, I know that's Richard Patrick. Like, that's the kind of thing that you get.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. But, you know,
yeah,
he said, you know, your audience is confused, and, you know, and I took it, you know, I mean, on Amalgam is like one of my favorite records. We went from like super heavy, like politically charged, like music about Columbine High School.
Yeah.
We went directly into this song called you know, The Only Way Is the Wrong Way, which was like completely, they were like, this guy is all over the place. I'm like, what that? You know, like in Entertainment Weekly, they're like, Richard Patrick's music is too diverse for its own sake. I'm like, what? There's no such thing. Like
dude, I mean,
like, I guess Van Gogh like painted the same style every time, but to me, it was a different picture. Like,
that's what I love about certain artists too. It's like, you know, you don't get the same thing over and over and over again. Sometimes you get some variety. I feel like variety, especially these days, it's like, it's how people are, you know, it's how people are surviving. Even like bands like 21 Pilots, where, you know, you have a reggae sounding song, and then you have a pop sounding song, and then you have fairly local and it's rock, and you have, it's just, everything's different. Now we can do it, you know.
One of the other band that I was really influenced, Clash, and the Clash, you know, they were hip hop to reggae to punk to, they had all different kinds of music going on. And you know, I guess Joe Strummer's voice was the thing that set him apart. But then Should I Stay or Should I Go comes out with Mick Taylor singing, not Mick Taylor, Jones. And he started singing, and, you know, and all of a sudden it was a completely different song. It was a completely I don't know. The key to being an artist really is following your instincts and just doing what you believe in. And that's the thing. When I wrote Hey Man, Nice Shot, I was like, I'm just trying to make music that I won't hate. Because part of like artist is all of a sudden you're comparing yourself to everybody, and like, how hard are you bringing it, and how and you know, you get to a level where, you know, like, this is either sounding like local band or this is national, you know what I mean? I'm in a national band now, and you know, you know,
I remember that whole conversation of like local versus national, like, you know, well, they're a national act, and it's like, I remember that like kind of phrase being thrown around when I was a kid, and I'd be like, I want to be a national act, like, what the heck? Do you feel like doing shows live as a guitar player with a different band gave you a perspective that you brought with you into Filter? Like, did you like,
you know, I mean, it was freaking easy, Nine Inch Nails, man. I mean, you know, I just sat there and played guitar parts that were super easy there. So he would write these guitars, super fun and easy. And then Filter was just tons of responsibility. Like, I'm studying my lyrics, and it was a you know, I wasn't really doing Nine Inch Nails creatively. I was just part of the set, you know. I was around the stage waiting for him to like write records, and for Filter it became like this massive responsibility. But I'm that it's Filter's my calling card. That's what I've done for the past, 20 years. So
How old were you when you started doing Filter?
I was like, I wrote Hey Man, Nice Shot when I was probably like 21.
That's wild. That's crazy. Dang.
I sat around for a couple of years until I figured out, because I wasn't sure I wanted to leave Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
And finally I took a bunch of mushrooms and was at the Grand Canyon.
Just throw that out like really casually. I just took a bunch of mushrooms.
A bunch of mushrooms at the Grand Canyon, and I was like, I gotta live, man. I don't want to ride anyone's coattails anymore. I'll be my own boss.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
man. I was so pumped to get to do. It's like I've been doing all my own stuff for a bit, but it was fun. I hadn't really honestly done a cover ever, because there's this stigma that comes of like, oh, they're just a cover act. There's somebody that does a bunch of other people's songs on YouTube or whatever else. But when the idea came up to do a cover of Take a Picture from one of the producers I work with, I was like, I freaking love that song. Like, I was like, yeah, I would do it. I'm like, and we could do it in a little bit different of a way. And so when we ended up doing that, and we reached out to
you made it yours, dude. You made it yours. When I heard it, I was like, wow. It actually reminded me of the first time I heard mine, like back at like the refreshness. Like it was like you hit the refresh button and it just came to life. And like the first time, I haven't heard it, sound new in 20 years. So,
we went all out. We like hired some folks to do some drums, so like real instruments on it with us playing on it. And like, it was fun to kind of make it sound, I was like, Richard Patrick will never hear this. And then when you were like,
there's the vocoder. Like,
yes.
Like, that's awesome.
Dude, the vocoder was fun. I hope that lands on something cool. So I guess, during doing all this Battle Talks thing, I have pretty much two questions that I'm going to ask everybody. One of them being, I'll just start with the first one. What would you say is your biggest personal struggle that you've ever been through? And what was the battle that it took to overcome it?
Well, my worst personal problem was alcoholism. I suffered tremendously from alcoholism. It went from having a couple beers before a show to like full-blown alcohol, drug addiction, everything. So I became an addict. At some point, I knew I was an addict, but at some point I had to beat it. And so in September 28, 2002, I checked myself into a rehab, and I've been sober for 17 years.
Dang, and that's amazing.
Yeah. 17 years. It's bizarre to even say that, because
what was like the driving force to make you?
My sobriety's out there driving a car, and like, because in the beginning it was like my sobriety's 3 years old. He's walking around, and now it's like, full on my sobriety's like trying to figure out what school he's going to or whatever.
He's going to college. He's about to spend $300,000 on college education.
Yeah. But that was it. It was, the battle was convincing myself that I was sick. Like I knew deep down that I was sick, but like doing something about it and like fighting it and becoming like whole, like just I have to if I don't, it was a battle I was going to lose. And if I was going to lose that, I wouldn't have survived. I knew to the point where like, okay, this is not going to go any better. Like I drinking didn't feel like anything anymore. It felt like I'm drinking to get to a point where I don't have a headache and I don't, like, cause you get these shakes really bad when you're just out, your nervous system is shot. Your decision making is just gone. It was really, really bad. It was really sad. And so when I got sober, I was like, this is the first and last time I go into a rehab. This is it. Like, we're doing this. Some of my friends, have gone to rehab 3 or 4 times. Some of my friends I went to rehab with Chris Cornell.
Gosh.
And, like, Chris was in there when I got there.
Yeah.
He had a few more days than me. And I was at one point, I realized that, like, you know, it was a 12-step program. And I was like, I don't want to do a 12-step program. And he was like, dude. And I was like, I'm leaving. Screw this. And he goes, dude, this is it. This is the only game in town.
Jeez.
He's like, this is the only way to be sober. And like, he saved me because I would have just gone out and then for me to see that Chris had taken his own life was unbelievable. And same with Chester Bennington.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my friends don't make it out of this. It's a real deal. I mean, it's addiction, especially with alcohol or drugs, it's a life sentence. I mean,
well, I'm thankful that people like you and Trent have kind of overcome it and made your way out of it. And other folks, I mean, I would say, like, I feel like in creative community, I mean, I don't know if we're just given more, we feel more or whatever, but it's easy to kind of talk about it in the music, but then in life, it's just kind of like, let's just numb it. Let's, you know, I don't know what it was for you that ended up being like that, but.
It's a very strange thing because creatives, you know, called these days, creatives we're off balance. There's a difference between us and normal people. Normal people look at us and they're like, how do you do that? How do you when I sing and I sing a full set and I come off stage, people are like, how do you scream like that and still and I'm like, it's because I experimented screaming when I was young and like thought it sounded cool when most people would be like, you're screaming and you don't really what you know. And that's the thing. I see beauty in screaming. I hear the beauty in screams. I hear, you know what I mean? Like it had to be my life, you know. I couldn't cut it in real society, you know. I you know, so but you know, if you look at the singers from my generation, you know, Scott Weiland, you know, Kurt Cobain, I mean, Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington, man, they're all dead, you know what I mean?
It's such a shame too, because I mean, I feel like those people, gosh, that was like the soundtrack to my young adult life, you know, even just coming up. And I just remember hearing like some of those lyrics from some of those people too. Like I feel like I remember putting on that Linkin Park record, that first one, or Hybrid Theory or whatever it was, and being like, holy crap, this guy understands me. Like, he knows what I'm going through, you know? And I mean, I guess, you know, and then hearing about him passing, it was like,
when I sang, hey Dad, what do you think about your son now? I literally, it was horrifying because I was like, I know that this makes sense to me. Yeah. Extremely personal, and this is extremely horrifying, but that's when your originality pokes out and goes, if it's scary and if you're really worried about it, usually you're doing the right thing. And that's the crazy thing about creativity is writing those because that's the thing that everybody talks about when they hear it, take a picture. They're like,
that bridge.
That song about your dad, it means so much to me. And I've lived with people. I played a show and a guy came in, he goes, I know you just played. I saw the marquee. I just want to let you know. He came in, he goes, the song Take a Picture changed my life. What? And he goes, it's not like I'm a huge fan of your band, but I want to let you know my father abandoned me at a hotel when I was 3 years old, and it crushed me all the way through my adolescence until I heard that song. And it's like, that's when you know, like, holy cow, I've made a difference in someone's life. And that's what and for a long time, when I was singing that line, I was like, where did this come from? And why am I singing it? And why does it sound so good when I sing it? And should I sing this? And my trusty compadre Ray DeLeo was like, you have to, because it sounds like you really mean it, and you feel it.
Is it, do you feel like there's like, do you have, I don't know the story because I have never asked you about it, but like, is there a complicated relationship with your father that took place, or what was the?
And see, Take a Picture ultimately is a huge, massive cry for help. I really know it. I wasn't talking about drinking. And my problem with drinking like to anybody else but like my lyrics. And even my lyrics, I was still trying to hide it. You know what I mean? I didn't want anyone to know, want anyone to take it away from me.
Yeah.
Like, drink, because we know you have a problem. Well, you know, the funny thing about alcoholism, you're the last one to know.
Yeah. That's true. That's so true.
Alcoholic, you don't know you're not. So
yeah,
when I sang that line, I was like, I hope my father's not. I hope my father's proud of me. I hope he's okay with the way I'm living, and I doubt it.
Yeah.
And hey, Dad, what do you think about your son now? Like, I was worried about my behavior.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Stupid and getting in planes, smoking cigarettes and getting kicked off a plane. You know, like.
I mean, the fact that you got naked in an airplane and part of that song is about that is pretty funny. Like I mean, it's like outside of addiction, you're like, what the heck? Like, this is crazy. Yeah, what am I doing? Like,
I mean, there's rock and roll. I mean, it's gotta be rock and roll, baby. You know what I mean?
I mean, you came up. I feel like that's the thing. It's funny because like kids, like after my generation, they're like, I want to be on American Idol. I want to be on The Voice. Like my generation, I was like, I want to start a band. I want to tour the world. I want to do dumb shit. Like that was kind of basically like that was what we saw, you know?
Yeah, I just wanted to be in charge. Like like life, you know. I didn't want to owe anybody or like I just wanted to like live my life, and I lived it. You know, it ended up me being in what I called the shame basement. You know, in Chicago, I had this great apartment, and I lived in the basement because it was the darkest place I could find. And I'd sit there and drink beer all day long and just like waste time and screw around. And that was kind of like okay, my addiction is now I've got everything I want. You know, I got money. Everything, but I'm really just sitting in here drinking by myself because no one wants to hang with me.
No, for real, I mean, I feel like you're so honest. Just
the only people that were hanging out with me were drug dealers. You know, that's how sad it became.
Crazy.
And the drug dealers were like, "Hey, Rich, I think you got a problem."
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I'm telling you got a problem. Like that's how fucking bad it is.
I feel like you're super honest, just who you are.
Sloan, I just want you to know I'm better now. You know, my daughter. Yeah. Like, you know, your father fought something and beat it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, that's powerful. I mean, I think too, like, that's what I love about humans is that like we're resilient and we don't give up. And, you know, when they have those moments, we can just have our lives changed and change for the better and then never look back. It's like, it's crazy. So congrats on, you said 18 years?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Well,
no, it's 17 years and September 28th, I'll be 18. So.
Okay, man, that's incredible. Well, my second question, and the last one of this whole series of that stuff is, what would you say your biggest professional struggle was that you've ever been through, and what was the battle that you did to overcome that?
The biggest professional struggle was when all of a sudden the audience decided we want it for free.
Oh my gosh, bro.
And it went from we're going to buy CDs and cassettes and records to we're going to download it. Whee! And that's when everything went shit. When CD burners showed up in computers and they started all that NAFTA or whatever word, what was it? When they started just making music free.
Oh yeah. Napster.
Yeah. When they did that, that's when everything changed. And like, it became like, you really had to hustle. You really had to like figure stuff out. And it became like, I don't know. Everybody started writing music that was like sweet.
Dang.
And everybody was trying to get on the radio, and you know, some of the stuff I listened to, you know, some of the music that I wrote back, you know, 10, 15 years ago, I'm thinking to myself, was I trying to get on the radio, or was I just trying to be myself? Because the kid who put "Hey Man, Nice Shot" wasn't trying to get on the radio.
Yeah.
Trying to make myself happy and you know, make music that had high, you know, that crushed and, you know, took no prisoners. And same with Take a Picture. I wanted to write something that was just absolutely gorgeous, you know, for and everything in between, you know. But there's a couple songs I listened to that I cringed at, because I'm like, rock radio's dead. Now, I mean, we can all say rock is officially, it's kind of dead right now. I mean, when Little Pump has 17 million followers and Trent Reznor has 100, there. I mentioned Trent. The one guy asked, when's he going to talk about? Reznor has 100,000 followers on Instagram, but like Little Pump has 17 million. You know
I went on there.
Hip hop is just wiping fucking rock and roll's ass right now. Just completely fucking crushing it right now.
I mean, that's one thing I'm bringing you on this week, and I have another person coming on afterwards next week that's also like legend rock status. And it's like, the thing though is that like your music and their music, like my music wouldn't even happen. Like I'm kind of sneaking in that rock vocal with a different kind of setting, and I feel like, you know, my hope is that, you know, because of somebody like Billie Eilish, who came in and just kind of tore open a big wide thing for people doing dark pop music, it kind of gave and even, you know, I know people they have shade or whatever about it, but you know, Imagine Dragons and, you know,
Billie, it feels like when Nirvana took over, or Jane's Addiction.
I mean, she just hit the scene, and it was like, it just ripped right open, and all of a sudden I saw a little hole.
Kind of the way Skrillex took over for a little while.
Oh man,
you know, it's like a bass sound, you know, like, like
I found out that they don't even really make those sounds themselves, that they actually grab from like a sampler, chop them up, and then it's just wild. Like the whole thing is crazy.
Well, the beautiful thing is it really has become like a couple of kids with a computer, which was the way we did Short Bus. Short Bus was like, crazy. I don't know, we don't know any drum. I had one drummer that I asked to be in Filter, and the guitar player found out from his present band, they were called the Spud Monster, and that guitar player hunted me down at a club and punched me out and was like, "Don't try and steal our fucking drummer." And I'm like, okay. Okay, drum machines it is forever. You know, and then when when we toured with Filter, I was like, well, no one wants to just see us with drum machines, but that's how it is. Rez, my favorite artist, is like, it's one person, a great light show, and that's it. And that's all you need.
It's crazy. I mean, it's been cool for me too, like on the come up of like playing shows. It's like, I don't feel as weird about having a drummer and me on a guitar and then a computer playing most of the track, because it's like, because people are literally just getting up on stage with a mic and a computer sometimes, you know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy.
No, I'm absolutely in awe of like this girl named Rez, or even in general. Literally, Rez played, you know, the Greek Theater in front of 10,000 people, and it's just her life show and her and goggles, you know, and she comes out with these goggles, and I was second row, and I was like, fuck yeah, you know, everybody old and shit, but I was like, whatever, dude, you have no idea who I am. I might be the old, you know, weirdo to you, but like, you're all the little young newbies as far as I'm concerned.
Crazy. I know. Yeah, that's the thing, man. I'm like, when I look at your career, it stretches out so long. The fact that you've been able to do music for as long as you have at the level that you have is crazy. I mean, I was even looking at, like, I don't even know if I realized or remember that, like, Army of Anyone, like, how the frick did that happen? That's crazy. Like,
that was like, just like, I got together with Robert and Dean, and they're like, well, we're our singers in Velvet Revolver. You want to do something? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, Scott was in Velvet Revolver, and they were like, well, we want to tour. We want to go out and have fun. Let's do it. So, and that was the big discovery from that band was here, who was out forever with David Lee Roth. But here is like the most incredible drummer on the planet. And Yeah, he is. He is. Well, you know, rumor has it there's some new Army of Anyone worked on, hopefully. So,
Really?
because I wrote the song, and it was I wrote this song called Summer Child, and it's
Yeah.
even the title doesn't sound like a Filter title. But I was like, man, I bet you if I could just call Ray, he would just play drums on this. And sure enough, and he's got it right now. I think he's playing drums as we speak.
Dang.
I'm trying to get the DeLeo brothers one at a time to come over and just,
Yeah.
you know, just, okay, play your bass.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. A new
Yeah.
Army of Anyone single. I think everybody would be stoked about that.
Yeah, and it's really a good song. And they're like, we could play guitar all over this shit.
You're like, come on and do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we can't do something, you know, because we're all stuck in the studio anyways.
Yeah.
Tour, so.
Man, I saw that you know, I listened to the record, that the one you released in 2016, and like you said, you went, what did you say?
Crazy Eyes.
Yes, Crazy Eyes. Bro,
Yes.
that record is hard. Like, it's so industrial and hard. I was like, how have I slept on this record?
The new record that is, I was gonna call it, the new record I was gonna call it, they've got us right where they want us, at each other's throats.
Yeah.
But I've decided to call it America. And it's heavy as fuck, and it's very, it screams of where we are now. It is just, you know, it's a city on fire, this record. And I'm super proud of it. I can't wait for the new film. And I want to release it, like, I just want to put it out digitally.
Yeah.
I just put it out.
My favorite thing, like, I think is so funny, is like looking at your Instagram, and the posts that you post are just unabashedly like how you feel. You don't care about what anybody thinks about your opinions, which I think that is probably what makes you a great artist too, is like, you just put it out there, like, who cares? Like me or don't like me, this is how I feel.
I'm to the point now. Come on, stop. I'm to the point, like, where I've learned, like, I have another career that I've been working on. Scoring actors, doing movie scores.
Yes.
And that is something that is more safe. It keeps me grounded. It keeps me home with my family. You know, because I see my kids grow up. It's hard to be on the road all the time. So Filter, literally. 100% just my soapbox.
Yeah.
It's just my sound. It's my platform to just scream at the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sell records. I'm not trying to get on the radio. I'm not trying to be a huge success anymore. I literally just want to say what I want to say.
I think now it's on the back of your screen here. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, when I think about it though, your songs from the beginning, from Hey Man, Nice Shot, from the top, have been what people call political. I mean, it has from the top, right? It's like, so it's funny to think that people are like, you know, you don't express your opinion. Don't say this about Trump. Don't say this about whatever, you know, Black Lives Matter. And you're like, I've been doing this from the top.
They're like, basically people are like, you're going to lose half your fans if you criticize the president. I'm like, so fucking what? The whole thing is about rock and roll. The whole John Lennon, Joe Strummer. You think I first Bono, Nivek Ogre, Al Jorgensen, you know, like the bucking the system. And see, now I'm getting all revved up. You know, the only people who are going to solve racism is white people. It's not up to black people to solve this. You know, it's something that we've all got to say back and forth to each other. You know, that the looting and the rioting, and like, let's understand it. Let's figure this stuff out. And that's what Filter should be. That's what Filter should be about. That's what. Now, I preface that by saying, like, look, I have a day job. I do movie scores. I make movie scores. I have a different income, and I can say that with a little bit of, but, you know, you have to take risks in life, and you have to say what you want. And it's usually when you feel kind of scared about it, that's usually like, well, I was scared about writing Hey Man, Nice Shot. I'm like, man, I wonder if I should tell anybody what this is really about, you know.
Yeah.
That blew his head off at the, you know, specifically, you know, our Bud Dwyer holding a press conference and blowing his head, you know, like
Crazy.
it was, and my friend at the time was like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Like, I'm like, sorry, Trent, I got it.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, don't do it.
Crazy. I know you think about that too, like your friends, what they're really trying to do is they're trying to save you from what they think is going to be
yourself.
Yeah, like save you from yourself.
My family is like, don't talk about politics. You're gonna lose. You're gonna turn people off. I'm like, I want to turn people on. I want them to ignite. You know.
Yeah.
Because if you can't learn, if you can't teach, these people don't want to know anything. These people don't want to change. Really?
Yeah.
Really? You're dead. You're dead if you decide you're done learning.
I love it. I mean, I think the thing too is that, like, you know, people are they're so cancel culture. You know, you say one thing and they cancel you. They cancel all your shows. They cancel your life. They just hate you until you go away. But the thing is that, like you said, people learn. So like, I may say something stupid today that hopefully someone will check me on, my family, my friends, my community. They'll be like, hey, bro, that's dumb. Don't say that again. Like, here's why it's stupid. Here's why it's ignorant. And then they check me on it and I go, okay, you're right. Or no, sorry, I'm right. You're wrong.
Therein lies the lesson. You know, there's a guy, his name was Strom Thurmond. He was Strom Thurmond. It had come out that he was in the Klan or something like that.
Jeez.
He like the great victory of this, the great version of the story. If he goes, if I apologize 1,000 times, I'm still not done apologizing for it because I had to learn that lesson. And that was the lesson that he learned. Strom Thurmond, that he learned that, you know what, I was screwed up when I was a kid and I did say some stupid things, but learning the lesson and saying I've changed and I've learned from that is the success. That's what defeating racism is. That's what the planet's about. We're on this planet to learn. We're on this planet to learn how to survive for the next generation. That's it. And you know, I'm an atheist. It's all in the science for me. It's all in the, you know, but that's just my belief. You know, that's my belief structure. But the reality is it's just, how can we make the planet cool for the next generation? Well, it's blown it up. It's not going to be by, you know, a ton of pollution. It's not going to be fighting war. No. You know, it all goes back to being cool to each other.
And, you know, religion, you know, it's like, I believe in God and all that. But, you know, I used to tie in religion with my politics, and like putting those two things together, like, oh, I have to vote for this person because they are either a Christian or not a Christian. I think I'm more on another place of just like, man, how does this resonate with humans? Like, are they trying to hurt humans? Are they trying to take care of humans? Like, how is this affecting us? And for me too, it's like, it's love, it's peace, joy, you know.
The evangelical vote. Act this president.
I don't understand.
People that want to be close to Jesus, that want to be close in the way they are to Jesus. Jesus would never stand for the shit.
I don't think so either. For me, it's like, you know, there's this whole verse about, like, you know, you can speak of tongues, you can speak of, you know, tongues of angels and of demons and all this different stuff. It's like, but if you don't have love, you have nothing. And I'm like, well, how did you guys read the same Bible that I'm reading and you miss all the love between the pages? And that's the one thing I've learned, I feel like, as I've gotten older, which you probably have learned even more, you know, being older than me. It's like, you know, there are some things that are black and white, you know, love your neighbor, you know, and do not murder and all these things, you know.
Look at what the topic of the week, you know, the topic of this year, definitely George Floyd. I mean, look at how that man died, you know, and
like an animal. And
where is the conservative right that's so every life matters and where are they, you know? Trump said anything. He hasn't said a damn thing. You know,
That's one thing that sucks.
McConnell now? Where's
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell now? The great Christian that Mitch McConnell is. Where you know, like, you know, all these Christians that are, you know, where, you know, they should be voicing their opinions.
I agree.
The
I
only
think
listening to is Reverend Al Sharpton. He's the only one that's like out there thumping a Bible and saying like, we got to get on this.
yeah.
You know,
I think if all lives, if you know, if Black Lives Matter, you know, I feel like when you start giving value, like for me, it's like God, for me in my headspace, it's like God created life. And when you're racist and you tell somebody I don't like you because of your skin color, you know, or like, you know, because of you're Jewish or whatever, anti-Semitism was a big thing with my mom's side of the family, and something that I heard all about, you know, the Holocaust and all this horrible stuff that I heard about from my family. And when I hear those stories, it reminds me of how far we've come. But then when I see things on TV where some dude's knee is on somebody's neck because of the color of their skin and they kill them, it reminds me of how far we still have to go. And so, yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a countdown.
Those four officers did not give a shit about his human life, and that's why there's so much destruction now, because if you can't be a Trump appointee, you know, the attorney general, if you can't see that, if you can't get down there and see that, and arrest those three officers, I mean, it's awful.
It's awful. I tell all my friends, I'm like, I'm down to do anything I can to help. You know I don't have a lot of voice or platform or whatever, but I'm like, I'm going to research who I'm voting for this next time. I'm going to make sure that if I see something in front of me that happens, I'm going to speak up, whether my life's in danger or not. I'm going to put myself in harm's way, because humans need to be valued. And until they're valued the way that they're supposed to be, we're going to keep making music that calls it out. We're going to keep living lives that call it out. And dude, I'm just like, I'm glad we brought it up, because I'm like, I'm with you. I'm like, you can't have a talk or a hangout on a day like today without talking about it. So
yeah, but and remember that we're the people that are going to make a difference. Even with just in our family.
Yeah, telling our kids.
Everybody watching, there's 50 people. By having a conversation about it and letting everyone know that like it's on our minds is important, because it should be on their minds.
It should. Yeah.
It should be like we can we have to literally reach out to our friends that are of color and say, and I did. I reached out to my friends. I'm like, I just want you to know.
It kicked us off.
And
they only gave us an hour, so they're just like, y'all talk too much, so whatever.
We do. We got all freaking into it. But I'm glad we did, and I hope that everybody is having the same conversation, and I hope everybody.
Me too.
But my point to me, it's like, now that the America's in its final episode.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
We're in the season finale of America, and we're watching it as the season turn. I literally just think to myself, "Told ya,
man."
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry to be a dick, but
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But dude, you're like, your Crazy Eyes record, it's almost like, you know, it's almost like you wrote that record during this time. Like when I listen to that, I'm like, did he know what was coming? You know what I mean? It's nuts.
I knew what was coming. I knew exactly what was coming. I knew that it was going to be
riots and
shit show.
Yeah.
The city of blinding riots, you know, literally wrote it for, like, Walter Scott, you know, face down, you know.
Yes, I know. Dude, when I heard that today, I was like,
on the ground, face down, on the ground, face down, you know. And it's like, it comes and it's recycling, you know. I'm not a psychic. I just knew it was going to happen.
You know, it's crazy. Timbaland posted this clip from 1992 of this older gentleman who is out kind of yelling at everybody, going, "Why are you burning everything down? This is what I've worked for. This is my livelihood." All this stuff, you know, like a African American guy, and you know, to just people of his community. And I thought, I don't know, it was in clips of like what was happening now, but it was so similar that I literally like thought it was from now. And I hit him up like on one of his videos, and I was like, who is this guy? How can we help him? How can we give money to like get his business back? Like, this breaks my heart, you know? And he was like, dude,
it was from 1991.
it was from 1992. And I was like,
yeah.
Wow, this has been happening for a long time. This is not just right now, you know?
This is the thing. That's the thing. Now that I'm 52 and I've been around this thing so long, like I'm realizing we don't actually say what we mean and remind each other. I mean, I'm back to basics of just like literally all we have to do is just be nice to each other.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I make music for every emotion, for every human emotion possible. You know, I really want to make music for every human emotion because I want them to have the release that I get when I hear music and it makes me happy. And that, if I can change just a few lives, if I can do anything just on a day-to-day business, like just being nice at a grocery store, just being like, you know, like I let my punk ethic kind of, my aggression goes into the music, but my daily life, I'm a kitten, dude. I'm a cat.
That was one thing I was surprised when we talked on the phone for the first time.
You know,
I was like, he is a lot nicer than I thought he would be.
my old self was crazy and pissed, but now like the funny thing is I'm not bitter in my life. I'm bitter in my music, and I'm pissed in my music, and that's actually where I want it to be, because I don't want to be all low and, you know, I don't play golf. You know,
oh my God.
I play golf. I make heavy metal music if I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Off, you know.
Man, well, I can't wait to hear more.
I go to Rez concerts. Rez, R-E-Z-Z, that girl.
Rez, okay, I gotta check her out, man.
Yeah,
I gotta check her out. This is high praise. I love it.
Yeah, she's great.
You know, somebody that I feel like you would like too, if you haven't checked them out yet. Have you checked out Grandson? Grandson, dude, his stuff is super politically charged. It's kind of like Rage Against the Machine, but it's got like new fi elements in it, and I feel like you would vibe with that so hard. You would love it.
I'll get to it.
Bro, well, thanks so much for coming on here. You're my first episode of Battle Talks, and I'm like, I couldn't think of a better person to be on here. You are freaking awesome. Like,
hey, listen, for all of my fans that are watching, this man right here, Sam Tinnesz, his song, the cover is amazing, but his music, Warplanes, is it's off the chain. It's great.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
You are a force to be reckoned with, my man. You're gonna be just fine.
Awesome. Thank you, bro.
I'm passing the baton, brother.
I'll take it. I'll take that filter baton.
Just give me free tickets when you come to LA when COVID's gone. You know?
Done. That will happen, man. I hope we get to hang whenever this whole thing passes, and I can hear some new filter music, and I can show you some new music I'm working on, and we can just hang and
expect filter music soon.
Awesome.
I think I'm gonna release it one single at a time.
Heck yeah. Why not?
One single at a time. The first song's probably gonna be called Thoughts and Prayers, and it's off the record America.
Dang. Dude, this is gonna be hard. I can already feel it.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be very hard. I'm digging it. This is where my aggression's been going.
Man, well,
so it's ripe for politically charged music. So
it is, bro. I feel like there's no one who does it quite like you. So I can't wait, man. I can't wait to hear it.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for having me.
All right. See you later.
See you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.